This is a original 1864 Burnside cavalry carbine used by the Union forces during the Civil War. The interesting thing about it is the cartridge. It has no primer, but it was the first design that stopped the blowback problems they were having with breech loading guns. All the breech loading guns they made, if they made them tight enough not to blow back in your face, they would freeze up as soon as they got hot after about 10 or 12 rounds. If they made them loose enough to keep firing, they'd blind you. Burnside came up with this case that when the gun is fired, that case expands and seals against the chamber walls. That prevents the blowback. And that is the same principle that every gun we shoot today is made on. The case that expands and to seal the chamber.
Well, you say it doesn't have a primer. What's the ignition system on it?
The ignition system, it used a regular musket primer, Civil War musket primer.
Oh, okay.
And there was a, you can't see it here, but there's a nipple.
Oh, okay. So when you cock it, then you put the primer out.
Nipple, okay. Yeah. And there's a tiny, skinny hole that runs down to the back of that shell.
Yeah.
The shell has a little hole in the end and it's sealed with beeswax.
Alright, so
And
fire just burns
that
through the
would sound
beeswax
like a
and
real
ignites the
workable system, but I have never had this gun misfire. And when they did the test on it in Washington, they fired 400 rounds and never had a misfire.
Cool.
Of course, that didn't excite them as much as the fact is they laid a handkerchief over the works when they fired it, and the handkerchief didn't move. No blowback, which is what sold the gun to the Union forces.
Brown vest, the military firearm to shoot. Now, you also have to remember when the United States was created in the Revolutionary War, we didn't have a manufacturing operation. So many of the guns that were made in a garage, a workshop. So for example, we have a couple of there. I have a production Thompson Center, but if you look right next there, we've got a 40 cal, which, who made that one, Doug?
Tennessee Valley.
Okay, which is out of Mississippi. Bruce has got a K-Wood. Remember, these were individual gunsmiths, individual people making guns. They were not interchangeable parts. Okay, a Brown Bess, a Charleville, and a Potsdam. You've all heard the term military specs. Those are military spec rifles. His trapdoor is a military spec. The idea being interchangeable parts to keep things going.
So this is Burnside here.
Burnside is up there. We've got an original 1864 Burnside up there with a really unique cartridge from that perspective. But when the militia got pulled out after Lexington and Concord, they came with rifles like what you're going to shoot today. Flintlocks, because the percussion cap wasn't invented until 1820. Good job. Okay? And so we started it. Guys, you want to go ahead and just load up and we'll just let some of these guys shoot some of our stuff?
Hey, sit. This is Daisy, Chocolate Lab.
Coyotes at longer range with it and watch, lobbing the rounds in and stuff.
Well, pick your target. What do you want to shoot at, that left thing or whatever? You can just move this left, right, up or down, and you want to take the front of that, top of that front sight, level with that lower notch there. It's a military weapon, and the battle sights are set at 250 yards, and you're shooting at 75. So aim low.
Yep.
You don't want to launch this thing.
Everybody got ears on?
into Gilman County.
Bottom of the gong, basically.
Yeah. Pull the hammer back 2 clicks. Yep. Back up, push that in all the way forward. And close. You can't push on that lever, you have to push up
Do
there.
I want to have a go at my 40 caliber?
1 click.
Yep, Chip does. Yep, there you
You're
go.
ready to go.
Where you going?
Hold it firmly on your shoulder there. Aim
Need
it
to let them know it's firing a hole or anything?
No.
Range is hot.
Sit down.
All right.
Yeah? Okay.
You got hair protection.
I'm left-handed, so I didn't.
Okay.
Want to go again?
I know you're an experienced shooter, but have you shot double set triggers before? Okay, what happens, you pull this trigger first, and it'll just click. What it's doing is setting this trigger. Once this trigger's set, it's a hair trigger. Really hair trigger.
Okay.
So don't put it until you're ready to go.
Good shot.
Good job.
Okay, I've got my primer laying up on the table. Just a second.
All right.
Half cock. Powder goes in this pan.
70 grains of black powder.
Okay, so this was
And there's a little hole right there.
Yeah, I guess.
When that powder flashes,
I don't know if that hit you.
Thank you.
okay?
So there's like no safety or anything at all?
Well, it's safe in the sense that it's on half cock right now.
I don't know how to.
Get yourself comfortable. Do you want me to change this height?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I can't like.
You're left-handed.
Sit down first. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Okay, so the gun goes on your left shoulder. Yeah. So sit down, get yourself comfortable first, and then we'll bring the gun to you.
I don't know what the rule.
I know, but I think there is a black powder season.
Yeah, there is black powder.
Which target am I going to be aiming
It's
at?
a weekend before.
Well, you take your pick.
I know a friend that picked them up.
The metal one?
Take that white silhouette there, yeah.
Yeah. Over
Got a big silhouette. Okay, I'm going to put you on full cock. Okay, now you're ready to set your trigger.
If you have a target you want,
Can we move this over a little bit?
Absolutely.
top of that front sight blade is level with the top of that little notch there. The little, not the top here, the little notch there. Being a military weapon, a battle sight. 50 yards and you're shooting at 75, so ain't
Take your time.
target. We don't want to launch that over that berm in Gilbert County. So, might not hear the end of that. But so
About ready,
you're already
set
on
your
half
back
cock,
trigger.
Flip that back. Oh, you already loaded it? No, no. I'm ready.
Now you can go.
The sight picture of it is you get it rated.
Nice.
Well, what do you think?
That was cool.
That's a lot of fun.
How'd she do, Chris?
She did good. She hit it.
You did fantastic.
100 yards.
First time. Yeah, it's great.
Trapped all the way forward.
And you are from a better, well-to-do family. This is what you have been carrying. It's a mountain rifle. It's much lighter than most of the Kentucky rifles.
Thank you.
You imagine that 17, 18-year-old kids in the military back in shooting these things.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't bother them at all. White target doing that silhouette. That's why you see that. That's the biggest one, most human-like. Top of that front blade side, and they would level with that little notch down there, not up here, but that little notch there, top of that blade.
Virginia?
It's a military weapon, and the battle sights are set at 250 yards, and you shoot at 75, so aim at the bottom of that target. You don't want to launch this thing over that berm in Gilbert County. So you're already on a half cock, so flip that switch up and push the trap all the way forward. Put that in there. Push it all.
How heavy that is. That's a lot of
And then
weight.
close the trap, so you can't push down on that strap. You probably put it right there. Pull it back. One more click. One more click. You pull it back. And hold it firmly in your shoulder, and you're ready to go. Now this can be moved left, right, up, down, wherever's going to make it comfortable for you. Say that. What?
Up just slightly.
Yeah. All right. Get your sight and tell me when to stop it.
About right there is good.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Nice.
Put a bag of ice on that notch to be good as new in the morning.
Oh, I was like right in my muscles.
You right-handed?
I'm right-handed, yeah.
All right.
You got it.
You have a misfire. Come on now. Oh, yeah.
I think I was above.
No dinner.
No dinner.
You can squirm a little bit here.
we need something
That's really nice.
So, Mike, this is a horn that you're making.
I made the horn, but I had a guy scrimshaw it for me.
Okay.
And this is the river system I grew up on as a boy. My hometown
we got to document
is right there. And then Dad.
I got a loaded gun, you're the only guest left.
Or Shelby. Is that Shelby? Yeah, that's my dad's from there.
Okay.
What's the name of that hometown?
Elkhorn City.
Elkhorn City. I'm sure you told me once.
Yeah.
Is that where you're gonna put the powder in?
I got a brass, the threaded brass one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a staple in the front.
These should be available for sight-on.
And you're going to patina it with some kind of a finish?
You know what? I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna leave it bright like that because it matches my primer.
I go to the drive-by.
Oh, okay.
Over there.
It's kind of
If it's a
All right, nice.
22,
pretty similar.
Yeah.
the one
Okay.
down the Scholastic
I can see why.
I ordered the horn from
down this road.
Powder Horns and More.
Mm-hmm.
I told them I wanted the widest,
Well, yeah, if you keep going. Past
the
the
cleanest
Scholastic.
white.
Well, let's see what we can do about those bowling pins.
Both of
John.
these came
Now-
from there.
Okay.
I put
great.
that in.
Now that one's
Yeah,
a
good
hard
job on
one
that.
because it's a
Yeah,
good range.
this will hold about 2
Don't,
inches.
well, we don't like anyone shooting.
This stuff shoot all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I think this
all
probably holds 4
like
or
solid
5, 4 and a
rock
half.
in that berm,
And then
and it. A 22 is
Oh, yeah,
fine.
that's a
They
big
shoot
one.
22s in there for the kids all the
I
time.
did the crappy bead work on it.
But still, it looks good. I mean,
I keep 3
I think
up in
only
this.
you would say it's crappy.
Well, it matches my thing here. And you see the 3 big beads?
Yeah.
That's why I know that it's 3F.
You can
Oh, okay. Okay.
where people.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea, yeah.
And I got a 2F one too that's just got 2 of the big ones.
Okay.
I'll have it with me.
That's a clever way to designate it.
Huh?
That's a clever way to designate what granulation you have.
Well, I know 3 is.
Anything after 18, this one's, I've already loaded it. We're just gonna prime the pan.
Stained left. Yeah. It's not
About 3
stained proof.
grains.
It's right there in the name. It will
Over
still
the pan.
stain in the wrong condition.
Okay, it's a half cock.
This is okay.
Take the gun.
So, I mean, I don't doubt it. I know it's fun. Done it enough to know it's fun.
little instruction? Yep. It's a half cock now.
Okay.
We always used to do it with kids. Mount it just like you normally run. Shoots at 12 o'clock. Just pick out your target. And when you're ready to shoot, pull this back to full cock. Till it
So
clicks.
what would you recommend? Probably the buffalo?
The buffalo or the white gong in the center there.
You have to shoot my
I like to shoot buffalo myself. So like I said, when you're ready, just pull it back to full cock.
All right. And light trigger or?
It's fairly light. It's not a set trigger, but it is a light trigger.
It feels good.
You hit it.
That is cool. That is cool. Holy crap.
Danny Kaywood, he's got
Gonna cost-
Okay, well, that's got double set on it.
I told you, I'm so tall, it's really hard to get this on my shoulder.
Work up your load.
Ready to go.
So it's low, it's so wet.
I mean, they kill bears with these things.
Still went under the
Shoots 45 caliber. Round ball. Load it by half cock. So you can spin the cylinder. Okay. And that's how you load it.
So have
you ever had to do
anything with the
Ball,
of the barrel?
and you ram it.
Just good to go.
Spin the cylinder, then you cap it.
Yeah.
Come on now. Nice.
Well, what do you think?
That was cool.